Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I just got off the water practicing on Watts Bar Lake for the next Bassmaster Open. Really excited to be able to fish a tournament at home and sleep in my own bed. That's pretty awesome. But one of the reasons I was really excited about today was I finally got my order of a brand new bait the ZMan came out with at ICAST this year called the GREMLIN. This little creature bait right here, I've got one out of the pack. This is a brand new creature bait that really is designed to be flipped or pitched, you know, heavier tackle to be able to pitch it into cover and things like that. Brian Latimer collaborated with ZMan to create this bait. And at first glance, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad to have a creature bait that looked pretty similar to a lot of the other creature baits on the market. But once I got to hold it and fish it today, I realized that this is actually a pretty special bait that's has some subtle differences to some of the other baits that have a similar profile that really make it different. Okay, so first, right off the bat, you get this wider, main body. Okay, very ribbed. It holds a lot of air bubbles, so when you pitch the bait in the water, when it goes down to the bottom, it's still emitting air bubbles because it holds the air really, really well, which is something that I noticed in the tank at ICAST. So really nice wide body design. It's not like super big, as you can see. It's not just a giant profile, but it has a thick body that really does hold a 4/0 or 5/0 EWG or flipping hook very, very well. And they actually specially formulated this Elastec for flipping and pitching. They actually call it their flipping, formulation of Elastec, which means it's a little bit more dense feeling, so it holds the hook point better without it going through the Elastec and snagging on cover and things like that. So I really like that about it today. But looking at it, it's got these little flapper appendages on the side, and then you kind of transition into these long curly tail appendages. Now, there's a bunch of different products on the market, lures or baits that look very similar to this, but really where this bait is separated from the others in this category is the fact that instead of having these long, narrow, curly tails that start at the body and end, in a curly tail, instead, they actually used a denser, kind of like claw shape profile that's real thick Elastec right here. And that really allows this bait to be customizable, okay? And that's one of the things that I did today. So there's some grass mats on Watts Bar right now. I'm not going to say that I was very productive when fishing them today. I didn't really catch anything, but I did want to punch some of those grass mats today. And what I did was I simply trimmed off those curl tails and made the perfect punching bait. So this is one thing that's really special about the GREMLIN is that you can trim those curl tails off and you are left with perfect punching claws that are very, very compact. They go through the cover really, really well. You can keep the curl tails on there, but I really do prefer to have less appendages. Anything that can snag on cover or slow this bait down while punching through thick vegetation, is more of a hindrance. And so you want something that's more compact profile. And dude, just trimming it like that worked wonders. And it just is a perfect shape. I love it. And I'm sure that over time, I'm going to find some other ways to customize this. Obviously, just simply having a bunch of different appendages. You can trim these little paddle appendages off and just have the claws. You can do whatever you want with this bait, and it's pretty customizable. But that, to me, face value, pulling it out of the package and, you know, seeing those grass mats, I was like, I'm going to cut those curl tails off for my punching rig. And that's what I did. And it works perfectly. And to me, it's the perfect profile overall. So that's kind of how I fished it today. I fished it with a punching rig. Again, didn't do great with the punching rig, but I also just fished it on a Texas rig, you know, just flipping it with a 3/8 ounce weight, and that worked great. And obviously in that orientation, I just kept those curl tails because it creates a lot of really cool action. And yeah, so I'm going to be fishing the Gremlin with probably EWG hooks exclusively. So like a Hayabusa 959 is going to be my go-to. It seemed like a 4/0 was the perfect size for the Gremlin. I think a 5/0 will work fine in it, but the 4/0 is perfect for this bait. So I don't think that you need to go very big with the Gremlin, which is nice. So the Gremlin is kind of touted to be a flipping, pitching, and punching bait. It's really just touted to be a flipping and pitching bait. But again, we customize it to make it the perfect punching bait. But also, I think that it's going to be an excellent Carolina rig bait. Okay. The one thing about this particular design is that they decided not to have any salt in it, which actually was done on purpose because they wanted a bait that wasn't porous, that could stand up to, you know, having that heavy duty hook in the bait and not having it want to pop out constantly. So they wanted something that was a little bit more dense. But what that does is when this bait is on the bottom, it tends to float very, very well. Even with like a heavy duty, EWG hook, the Gremlin is gonna want to float up. So a lot of people, you know, in a lot of situations love throwing a bait that floats on a Carolina rig. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's always a necessity, but there are some times, especially if you're fishing around a lot of grass and you want that bait to kind of rise above that grass, that you want a more buoyant bait. And because this bait does not have any salt and it's made of Elastec, it's very, very buoyant. So that is going to be a great Carolina rig bait, and it's just the right profile. I mean, there's so many baits on the market that have a similar profile with those curly tails that, people have been catching fish on Carolina rigs with forever. So that is another application that I see. A jig trailer, you could throw it on a jig. I would say like a football jig would probably be ideal for this bait. And there's probably going to be all kinds of different ways that you can fish it. Another way that I just thought up, and I think I'm going to try it tomorrow, is a swing head. Like a biffle style swing head is going to actually probably be a killer way. Maybe I'll just cut that out because that sounds like a really good idea. This bait will work really, really well on a swing head, I bet, as well. But anyways, guys, I got a little bit of time to fish it today. Already, got some bites on it. Keep that a secret because we got the tournament coming up. But overall, I think it's going to be a real winner, and it is a lot more unique than I thought when I first saw it. At first, I was just like, great, that is a proven design. I'm really excited that that was included on the ZMan product line. But when I saw it in person, I'm like, this is an awesome proven design with some great little upgrades that make it pretty special. So anyways, guys, that is the brand new Gremlin. Let me know what you think about this bait in the comment section below. If you're interested in getting the Gremlin, go to 44tackle.com. I highly suggest, if I was to pick 3 colors, only 3 colors, it would have to be black and blue, Bama Bug, which is my absolute favorite ZMan flippin' bait color. And then let's do Green Pumpkin Classic. So those are my suggestions, but you can go to 44tackle.com. They either have it right now or they will have it very, very soon. So check it out over there, and I will put a link in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Wish me luck this week on Watts Bar Lake, and trust the process. I'll see you out on the water.